Adolfus BENCE, Colombia. My studies are extensive. Mayor Daley got me to the Oxford Fellowship when I won Buckingham Fountain Art Fair. But my extensive study with Oxford professors at Oxford, at Columbia, and then in the University of Bologna, and at Temple University, the American Academy, the Swiss Academy, Florence Deutschler. Basically, it's very extensive. Thomas Masaryk, Derer, HC, multi-doctor, multi-academy life. Adolf BENCE Academy. The separation was done. Well, I won all the awards. I was a child prodigy, and I was asked to enter competitions, even the awards that I had to renew them constantly in contemporary public competitive sector, and I won everything, summa cum laude. But I was attacked by CIA many times, 7,600 times, and the KGB, bloodlands of Central Europe, Poland. I traveled to see the experience and the empirical, how the other side thinks and behaves, the sensibility of neoliberalism. My belief was democracy was a tabloid, was a screen for universal fascism, where leads to neutrality, Hitler's revolution, and victory of war was that he lost the war, but he started and won another war. And there was BENCE in Florence, Caesar and Pope, and now my work goes to Francisco, and in Syria, bishops, and Bishop Gregory II, 3 crucifixes. Then in Gregory has 3, and then Francisco is getting the biggest one. It was done in 1982. A major work. It's done by Matica Slovenska Kačer, Dr. Kačer. He was the UN guy for Czechoslovakia. But and Krčmari, my friends with Robert Borden. But this one was with Kukan, was anyway, all the Vlada, it's a very extensive terminology and words from Václav Havel down to the KGB agents, and I had great enthusiasm in Innocent Black with the expose in Washington. Richardus and Trajkovsky, President of Macedonia and third-year ambassador of Czechoslovakia. There was started with Seton Hall exhibitions, Modern Presidents. So with Ronald Rumsfeld and George Bush Jr. historically, and the whole Platt, China, and my exhibitions at the Smithsonian, and my collections, and at the St. Gaudens exhibition in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Adolf BENCE, was that it was constantly being, like Edvard Munch, like Picasso, I was put into a subjugated forum, subjective, and then of course a self, not objectifying sensibility, optologically, but still a rhetorical, conceptual contra. My professors and my education has been that I've been kind to my people, and don't have to justify it, just that the point wasn't talking about it. My professors always told me not to talk, to allow the wisdom of the word come through. But it was separated, and then I was attacked 7,600 times. And then by carpets, 25 people in masks to 9 people would come with spears, machine guns, knives, and they would debone me quadrupedically regularly, and they would tell, and this was informed to the police in Czechoslovakia constantly. I was on the phone with them. I knew where they're going to attack me. They would attack me on a boat with Karl Getzi. And it was completely manipulated by mafias and subversive neoliberal post-communist mafia in Czechoslovakia. Now the new consul and ambassador is going to review this and see all the factors as I'm communicate will resurface. I was taken out as innocent because my studies were the junkyards of the world, to visit them, to study with the CIA and the police, to observe the $2 million suitcases with the heroin from Kashmir, Afghanistan, and the arms deals that took place between principally three mafias: Russian mafia, Ukrainian mafia, and Albanian mafia. Of course, the Italian and was Fulbright in a different positive sense, positivist. Kaiser Kunst and Adolf von Ribbentrop, Adolf's son BENCE, his wife Christina Hinkel, Rothel, Cornelia Rothel, Hermann Rothel, Kalinsky Museum. They own all my work. They were my patrons. The DIA in New York. Collection is tremendous. Collective is tremendous. I have a photographic memory from Arnold Schwarzenegger to Schwarzkopf and Ambassador Kultura Kniashko, who welcomed me with elderly in the beginning when I came there and said, "I will give you a guard of 4 machine guns to guard you to enact a universal cultural revolution." So I traveled in an exhibition extensive in, first of all, banks, cultural centers, and museums. And then, of course, historical museums and galleries. And then private exhibition spaces, usually like Macie Slovenska, Zuzana Jančkovek, Zvolen. And elderly had senators, the presidential palaces of Schumacher, all the way up from Macedonia to Romania, Bulgaria, Eastern Bloc. They used to call me Adolf, MMM. Well, a lot of the people have died. I'm very tragically to say, from Casaroli, who was shot in front of my arms, and President Trajkovsky was shot by CIA. And he said, I had interviews with him at the Voice of America, Radio Free Europe. There's about 2,000 interviews, and about 2,000 on each. The resume is tremendously full. I never wanted to be a public figure because I was discouraged to tell my awards, including the Otto von Habsburg Award and the Kaiser Kunst in Budapest. I had an exhibition in Komarno, and they said it was the best exhibitions ever because they closed the circle of war on the world, and the contracted papier-mâché contracts came to life as it's a world revolution. Democracy works under quantum control and Albert Einstein's formula as a prototype for economic fascism. It's all economic opportunism, and therefore creates imperially the same category, quadrilaterally. My theory, like media used to be in Canada, Marshall McLuhan, if you remember, and going on to but politics, and it's tremendously complicated, and from modern objective Latin, English, British, French, Greek, Latin, Slavic, Aramaic, Persian, Chinese, Japanese, Manchurian, Russian, Slavic, Finlandish, Swedish, Italian, Spanish, American. So this international Mongolism of history comes to post El Salvador as being pro-communist, which is imperial policy, to really being an active cultural universalist. A very serious category for one man to stand up to and to transform with his wife, who he loves, Melissa BENCE, and the family, which is tremendously prestigious. We were Caesars and popes. And my family was BENCE, Austrian, and then before it was Florentine, from Florence, where BENCE was a pope and a Caesar. I don't want to go into being the pompousness of it. Humility, Christian humility, all religions transfer magnum opus historically is a tragic life. I'm 57. Look forward being the greatest genius of creativity since creator ex nihilo, since 18th century, the dawn of modern Renaissance on the world, epigrammica Heideggerian, optological creation, Adolf BENCE, Apelles, the painter of modern time.